What is going on, YouTube? It's Ed back here with another episode of Thinking Out Loud. Today we are reacting to a huge news that I woke up to, which is Microsoft is to acquire Activision Blizzard for close to $70 billion. Billion with the B. So that is, yeah, that's a lot of money. And especially right now, I feel like Microsoft probably pounced on this given the recent all the crazy controversy that Activision Blizzard that just ran into it. Their stock prices start going down, so they're like, like if they're we've always wanted to acquire like a major publisher, but right now, Activision's going through the mud, so let's like pounce on it as soon as we can. And that's exactly what they did. It seems like because I feel like if this was a year earlier, if they would try to do this, I think they would be worth at least 20-30% more. So I mean, they just saved themselves a lot of money. So but obviously the big question is like, what is this going to mean to the gaming community? What is this mean going to Call of Duty? Like now that Microsoft, the obviously the producers of Xbox, what are they gonna do? Make like all Xbox exclusives? No, no, no. So in terms of the immediate future, like the next 1 to 2 years, probably very little things will actually happen. Like in terms of their next few IPs and then for the next few releases, at least for most of 2022, I would imagine very little things happening in terms of the games and the titles that they have. So there's not going to be like no crazy Warzone changes, not going to be crazy WoW, StarCraft, whatever. There's not going to be crazy changes to that. I think moving forward, though, after that, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, there's probably going to be some major changes there. I would believe, some people are probably thinking like, oh, are they going to make all the games from this point on like only the Activision and Blizzard produce? Like, are they only going to be Xbox or PC exclusive? No, I doubt it. Like, Activision and Blizzard made a lot of money from the Sony and Nintendo, whatever they release on those consoles, right? Particularly Call of Duty. For them to just axe a huge revenue stream like that would be catastrophic. Like investors would go ballistic on them. Maybe not catastrophic, but they would definitely go ballistic. It's like, why did you just cut off like several, essentially $1 billion of revenue coming in? Like, what is wrong with you? I mean, Microsoft could do that and just stick it to like Sony or something. Sony would probably sue the living crap out of, or at least try to, because it's like, oh, hey, like, we have all these contracts for, this title being on our platform, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what they'll go through, but yeah, the likelihood of Xbox starting axing out certain titles, very unlikely. Maybe new titles will have some of that, but more likely what will happen, it'll just be more so just, early early releases on Xbox, exclusive content on Xbox. Like I mean, I doubt we'll see a Master Chief in Warzone anytime soon. Like a Master Chief operator. I don't know how that would go, because it's like, okay, you only offer it. Like, are you going to offer it to PlayStation players? Are you going to only offer it to Xbox PC players? How that even work out with in game? Like in terms of, oh no, now PlayStation players can see Xbox or see that Master Chief skin. It's like, I doubt that will actually happen. Maybe, I mean, maybe in like 2-3 years, maybe that will happen, but definitely like don't count on like this Christmas. It's like, no, you can buy the Master Chief or like ODST skin for Warzone. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, I would highly doubt it. They could introduce some of that into some of their maybe like Heroes of the Storm. I don't know. Like, they could. I mean, you might see some crossovers here and there with like maybe Overwatch. I don't know. Maybe you'll see some Easter eggs in Diablo, like here and there. But I doubt like there'll be too much mixing. Most likely, this acquisition is most likely just gonna be Microsoft is like, okay, we just basically diversified our portfolio and has a huge, and have another revenue stream right under their belt. And they're definitely obviously gonna make some like leadership changes. With that said, like from what I've read, Bobby Kotick is not going anywhere. Um, According to like articles like The Verge and like New York Times and a few of them, they're saying like, they're really not gonna. They're for the foreseeable future for what they're releasing. He's not getting the can. However, I would imagine, given all the bad publicity and everything, like I would imagine that Microsoft is going to work into something on the contract or the new contract where he will be exiting within the next 5 years. I would imagine that because he's just not a great name, even though he has like from a revenue standpoint, like a really good track record. Like from a purely business standpoint, Bobby Kotick has performed extremely well for Activision. Like, the amount of money he has made them is pretty like uncanny. So from a performance standpoint, he is up there. From a more morally standpoint, he is nowhere near there. So I would guess that he is not going to be a part of Activision Blizzard for much longer, unless he was like a key player in this deal going on, where like he basically negotiates a way where he just stays on for another like 10, 15 years or something. But I would imagine that's probably not a deal. I've asked a couple of friends who work in M&A or mergers and acquisitions for other companies, and they usually say most of the time, like what happens is like the founders or current CEOs and whatnot, they have to sign a contract to like stay on for at least another, 2 to 5 years to make sure the transition goes smoothly. And then after that, they can do whatever they want. In this case, though, it's a little unique because, Bobby Kotick does have all this like bad press right now, and that's not a good look for the company. Like Microsoft doesn't want to come out and be like, yeah, we just bought a company with a leader that leads it who is a, misogynist and, sexually harasses people and threatens people's lives. Like, they don't want that going on. The only thing is that, like, no matter what for Bobby Kotick, like whether he has a job in the next few years or not in Activision Blizzard, he is going to get paid out like royally. Like, obviously, if you're unsure of how these acquisitions work, like obviously Microsoft is not just transferring $68.7 billion over to Activision Blizzard to buy them out. Usually, obviously, they're buying shares, so they're buying enough shares to have controlling interest, but they're using their shares to buy their shares. Like, most likely it's like there's cash offer and then there's equity offer and other things that kind of come into play. But that's kind of, in case you're wondering, like how that works. So that's probably what they're doing, and all the major stakeholders are definitely going to be cashing out like a mofo at the end of like a year or two. So even for the lowliest stockholder, they're definitely going to get some benefit from this, at least ideally. But yeah, in terms of what will happen for Bobby, he's going to get like, even because I believe even before this acquisition, his contract at old Active or like the pre-acquisition, whether I think it was like regardless if he quit or was fired, the board fires him, he gets like a $15 million payout no matter what. I think maybe the only stipulation would have been, hey, like you did something completely illegal where you like embezzle money, like, like that would have been like, no, like we're not giving you jack. But he didn't do any of that, so he was only acting like a jerk to a bunch of people. So he's gonna get a big, huge payout no matter what. So. But I think I think most people will be like, you know what? I'd rather just see him get paid out and then get the heck out of here and get someone else to lead the the organization than have this person around. So, but that's just like that's my prediction, I guess you can say, for what will happen in the next 2 to 5 years. I would say, like, but in the immediate future, there's going to be very little. Hopefully, what I do hope that Xbox will at least positively influence is the production of their games. It's like, they're not gonna give them more stiff, kind of turnouts or stiff kind of delivery dates, and then give them a little bit more room to develop things and not have so many bugs. Things like with Diablo. Warzone right now is a shit show in terms of bugs, and Ricochet it's working, but it's like a reactive anti-cheat, not a proactive. Like, it doesn't, like, the second you have Ricochet, like, it doesn't just start looking at your files. You have to be like reported of cheating in order to actually detect you, I think. So I would hope that the biggest influence will just be like, oh hey, like, you know what, like, instead of punching this title out in the next 2 years, we're gonna give you 4 years or something like that. That way you can like iron out the kinks or something. But we'll see if that actually happens, because I think Halo Infinite was probably one of the better examples from Microsoft in terms of like, okay, hey, we're gonna keep pushing out. We're going to delay it so that we can deliver a great product. And they actually listen to a lot of, consumer feedback. Granted, apparently even Halo Infinite, like the whole development project itself, like, apparently we only got like a third of the content that we were actually supposed to get if they didn't have so much development problems. So, but that's a whole other thing. So I digress. But anyways, that's my take on this whole Activision Blizzard getting acquired by Microsoft thing. Let me know what you guys think of this whole thing. Like, do you think it's a good thing? It's a bad thing? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, so all that good stuff. Anyways, hope you guys have a good week. Hope you guys had a great MLK weekend if you guys had it off. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.